the premiere, the debut of SmackDown on Fox. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and tonight, we've got a panel. 4 of us, a fatal 4-way, myself, Matt Morgan, Raj Giri, Michael Wiseman, here to talk about SmackDown on Fox. An eventful night, a different night. Matt Morgan, to you first. What did you make of WWE's big coming out party on Fox?
Breaking news, more importantly, Raj Giri just got glued into the rest of the podcast. You gotta stay now, Raj. I loved it. I thought it had a big. This had a very big pay-per-view feel. And to be fair, I was in the Fox studios like all damn day today here in Florida, as were other former WWE SmackDown wrestlers I've noticed in their hometowns as well. It was a very big feel. Something big was happening tonight on TV. And once it actually aired, I dug it. I thought it was a good show. I love their new setup, by the way. The new stage looks awesome. Mm-hmm. And it was just humongous. That stage looked humongous. It looked super big time. I liked tonight's show in general, though.
So, Matt, were you there? You were there for wrestling reasons? Like they had you talking about wrestling? Or?
Yeah.
He mentioned this on the podcast the other night, Raj.
Well, I thought that was for mayoral stuff. I didn't know it was for wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to go back each Friday morning now.
Oh, wow. To what? Just talk about
the show, hype it up, who these people are, why people should be watching it.
Oh, that's really cool.
We'll see.
That's really cool.
Yes. Raj, tonight, I think that for some fans, myself included, the ending really overshadowed a lot of what came before it. Not only the Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar angle they went off the air with, but the fact that Kofi Kingston
squashed.
That wasn't even a squash. A squash, squash. You throw the guy around a few times. He threw him once, bam, pin, done.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was believable. That was believable.
I don't know. I thought it made him look. I thought it just undid so much of the stuff that they did with Kofi throughout the year.
It definitely did.
I mean, just giving him 5 minutes, and you could have taken 5 minutes out of the women's tag match just to give Kofi a little bit, maybe a hope spot or something, and then have Brock, kill him. But I mean, just beating him like nothing. I just felt like
all out the door for Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar to have that little shindig at the end. That's all they cared about in that segment.
Well, and Kingston looked a little bit foolish, by doing that. I mean, he just ran straight into him and got dropped. And you're right, Raj. I think they undid some of that goodwill because Kofi's been made to look like a strong fighting champion, and WWE doesn't do that a lot with guys like Kofi, so it's disappointing. And
they've been protecting like the Trouble in Paradise all year. Like no one has kicked out of that. So to have him hit like Brock with it or something right off the bat, Brock kicks out. Do something more than just the way they did him out. But
I know I'm outweighed on this, you guys, but this is what I told you. This is why Brock is not good for this company. I know that's insanity, what I just said. He's a draw. People want to see him. I get it. But for everybody else on that roster, he is not good news.
Well, and let me make a comparison. Imagine if at WrestleMania, in the main event, right? And tonight was felt as big as WrestleMania, the attention on it, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if Becky Lynch came out there with Ronda Rousey and Ronda did to Becky what Brock did to Kofi, and then Chris Cyborg showed up at the end. People would have been they would have lit their garbage on fire and thrown it in the ring.
I might have joined them, yeah.
Yeah, but Kofi's not exactly Becky, but I mean, he has become one of the top guys on SmackDown.
This did everything. You hit the nail on the head. It did.
The difference is, I think, though, WWE sees this as a more mainstream opportunity, right? Cain Velasquez, much like they saw Ronda Rousey as being that kind of bridge to UFC, but also now with the partnership with Fox, it's even more important they have guys like Cain Velasquez on them. And so from a business standpoint, from a wrestling standpoint, I hate it. But from a business standpoint, we don't know how this is going to play yet.
Honestly, that was exactly how it should have played out. If we're talking business and we're talking mainstream and we're talking all these mainstream eyes are on this network right now tonight, that was a big deal. That was also a big deal with Tyson Fury. That was awesome. I thought with Tyson Fury. I love Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Carrick pointing out that he's saying all this does is say the UFC guys are the real fighters. Our talent sucks. What a joke.
Yeah, I would feel that way too. Yeah.
It did kind of feel like that.
But they kind of are the real fighters.
Well, but that's the thing. Okay, so
and I did the wrestling thing.
So here's the question of what Fox wants, right? It's that this ending of it, and I think what they run the risk of is if they turn off enough hardcore fans. Look at the competitive landscape right now. Look at the fact that you've got wrestling every freaking night of the week. It feels like there are so many options. You've got Friday nights when some people have other options and opportunities for what they can do. This isn't like a Monday or a Wednesday.
Glenn,
what I'm saying is
they're not going anywhere.
they're not going anywhere. They're sitting home watching Fox. No,
be spanked and they'll ask for another one. The core
We'll
fans
see.
aren't going anywhere. They've proven it already. They've given us craptastic television for how many years before they finally started pushing these younger guys, the Seth Rollins and the Shields and the Daniel Bryans and the Punks. Before that, when Sheamus was like the next up and coming new talent, that was when it was at its worst, in my opinion. And they kept feeding it to us, and nobody was leaving. The core fans,
and that's when they were calling you and they were saying, "Hey Matt, when do you want to come back to the WWE?"
Yeah, that was good. I thought it'd be a smart move to be loyal to Dixie Carter.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we all have our flaws. But no, I think it's a risk though, because they need to deliver a number bigger than what they've been doing on USA. And to do that, it's the trade-off. Are they going to get more casuals, more newcomers, then they're going to get people that perhaps don't tune in next week?
Mike, don't you think so?
I think so. And this is the Fox partnership again at play. You talk about, Matt, you're doing studio time at local Fox affiliates happening all over the United States right now. I was at lunch. They had Fox on the TV and they were playing a video package from the Performance Center. They're drawing into a specific crowd that is more likely to tune back into a WWE product than what I think AEW is drawing by being on TNT. And yes, a very great audience they had earlier in the week, right? But it's a different kind of audience, as has been proven by the kinds of WWE pay-per-view buys versus AEW pay-per-view buys and so on and so forth. So I think they're trying to appeal to a different demographic.
Yeah. I have to say, I thought it was a fantastic show up until then.
Me too. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought originally, I thought this show was going to do 4.5 to 5 million viewers because I thought they were going to have Undertaker and Sting all throughout the show, like packing it with legends, and they didn't do that. I don't think the rating's going to be as that high now. I think it's probably more in the 4 million, 3.5 to 4 million range. But I think it's better. I think it's better not to show all the old guys as the top stars. You did that. You had The Rock, which I felt like they should have held that off to later in the show. I don't see why they throw it early on and then people will just tune out. But and then the rest of the show, it was the young talent that got the spotlight. So I thought that was way better. I like that they did that.
Even Shane McMahon segment was great versus Kevin Owens. I actually like that. I hate that storyline, but I liked that.
Yeah. The only thing, if I'm nitpicking, the only thing I would say is that the Rowan match went a little too long. I thought they could have cut away from that, added to the Brock and Kofi match. But that was about it. I thought it was a very fast-paced, easy flowing. It looked great. The set was awesome. It was a good show.
And say what you will too. WWE went with their very first match on SmackDown on Fox was a women's tag match featuring the 4 Horsewomen. So I thought that was a really cool thing too, that they opened up with a women's match. That's pretty strong.
It is.
And I like that they didn't harp on it. Like they're not like the first ever Fox match is a women's match.
When you do that,
this is history.
It undercuts it. It completely says this is a gimmick. We're doing this for yay, pat us on the back instead of no. This is the norm now. This is normal bleep. This is
right. AEW, same thing. The first match with Cody and Sammy Guevara, the referee was a woman, and they didn't harp on that. They didn't say anything. It was just there. So I prefer it that way. I think it makes it seem you're more in tune and in touch.
Yes.
And WWE does have a habit of over promoting their own, trying to reach out and do community service and work with all these different nonprofits. And so I'm glad that, again, it doesn't feel like more PC corporate talk. It was just an actual thing that happened, right?
They resisted. Yeah.
So tonight did open with Becky Lynch, the first performer, the first superstar we saw come out into the ring for SmackDown on Fox. She was interrupted by Baron Corbin, and they were both interrupted by The Rock. Pretty good promo face-off. I think The Rock put Baron over a little bit while cutting him down massively, giving him the new STD chant that we're going to be seeing in, I'm sure, the weeks to come. Matt, what do you think about this decision that Baron and Becky are the new talents WWE wanted front and center tonight for that segment with The Rock?
Good. That's great use of Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin held his own, I thought, too, by the way.
He's fantastic.
Dude, what the hell? Like, we were just clowning him with what he was wearing for I don't know how long ago it was, 6 months ago, I think. And then I'm not joking. It seemed like right after that, literally like 2 weeks after that, this dude comes into his own, starts getting better in the ring. His promos had always been improving, and they still are. He's awesome. But his heat is just out of this galaxy good. He embraces it, and tonight he looked like a huge star. He belonged out there with him, and he looked the part.
I didn't think I'd be saying this, but anytime soon. But Baron Corbin's gotten entertaining. Like he is entertaining now. For a while, it was just like, I want to change the channel, but I got to keep watching this. But he has gotten good. Rock had some great lines. He said that Baron Corbin looked like a broke ass Burger King on crack. And and with the cape and crown, he said that Baron Corbin dresses like a 35-year-old virgin at Comic-Con. So I'm sure the Comic-Con crowd wasn't too happy about that. But
Rock's part of the Comic-Con crowd though now, right? He can get away with it because he's beloved by all fans, and
every joke he makes is funny.
Right, exactly.
This is delivery.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Cedric said that, it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be funny.
I see some people online decrying the fact that our newly crowned King of the Ring is already kind of being put down so quickly on the biggest show of the year for SmackDown WWE. But it's different, I think, to your point, Matt, to your point, Raj. He's so entertaining right now. He's drawing that kind of heat you want for a guy like that in that position. He's getting the right reaction. And so I think it plays into his character so well. I think it takes nothing away from him because his ability to be entertaining in this role overcomes being put down by The Rock. And it's The Rock. I mean, you get to share a ring with The Rock. That just does something for you, even if he gives you a rock bottom,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool if someone got to, put The Rock down or lay him out. That would be cool. It would get a ton of heat on someone if you did that with a, obviously a Bray Wyatt or...
The last time I remember seeing it was Punk hit him with the GTS, and I remember like, wow, that was pretty freaking big. They just let him do that.
All right, but they had a program, like they were actually wrestling, but for his special appearances,
yeah.
But man, The Rock, you can't. I mean, he's always entertaining. This segment was it was awesome. Becky got the rub. The only problem when Rock is in there, even with Becky, is that The Rock is just so charismatic that no one is even close, and Becky just it's not even close.
But that's the thing. I mean, nobody can expect to be. I would argue, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I'll throw Steve Austin in there. Nobody is. That's what Rock does to everybody. He's up. He's that. That's why he's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. That sounds corny.
And Hollywood.
I thought, held her own better than most have tonight. Thought she was a better dance partner for him than a lot of people they put him in segments with.
Definitely.
And I think that's a testament, too, that they have elevated her. I feel like, there was that period where we all felt like Becky was the champ, but she wasn't quite the champ we wanted her to be. Like, she was bringing it, but they didn't put her in the right spot, and she feuded with Lacey Evans, and it was kind of weird. And I think since then, and since they broke her away from Seth, they've done some really smart things with her and made her look really good. And even stuff like she was on the show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. In a matter of a couple of weeks, she spent time on TV with Austin, on TV with The Rock, and I think she looks as big, I would say, maybe as she has in a year.
Yeah.
The stuff with Seth killed her and killed him even worse, I would argue. But she's back.
She's the female face of SmackDown. If she does not get drafted there, I mean, I would bet a considerable amount of money that she is on SmackDown for the foreseeable future, given how much they believe in her. You don't give somebody that spot tonight unless you're invested in them to open the show. So we went from that opening segment into Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Most of these matches were pretty fast-paced tonight. I thought this one was a good showcase. Matt, what did you think of this?
Good show. Exactly, just that. Good showcase. Everyone getting their bleep in, if you will. And just that, exposing them to a new audience.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Today at the Fox studio, we had to do like a little trivia game with pictures. We had to and there was a picture of Charlotte Flair like doing a moonsault off the top rope. And like the hosts who don't watch wrestling, like, oh, that's Ric Flair's daughter. Like they don't ever watch. And it was interesting to hear their take on like who was who, what was what. They had no clue about anything. Charlotte Flair. So I think having her out there again, she continues to be. I know we talk about Becky, we talk about Sasha's new gimmick. Quit stealing my blueprint. And Bayley. making this heel turn, right? But at the end of the day, I just think Charlotte is still head and shoulders above them all.
Raj, how much money would you bet that Charlotte goes to SmackDown?
I mean, that makes all the sense to me. And I think Sasha should have gotten the win here, unless she's winning the title. I mean, she's challenging for the title this Sunday. We have three matches announced so far for Hell in the Cell with the pay-per-view Sunday, by the way.
She should not be using it all. Right?
Sasha? Yeah. I mean, she's kind of been getting, the lower hand, I guess, in all these exchanges the past few weeks, which either she's winning, but Becky does seem like she has some steam. I don't know if it's necessarily the right time, or you're kind of not burying Sasha, but you're
not taking advantage of her.
Yes.
Like her, whatever you want to call it. I'd say edginess. I thought she was pretty edgy when she's come back.
Definitely. Yeah, she's cooled off, and WWE has a bad habit of doing that. And if you don't want to cool off on her, she was coming off as a star, and her and Becky, the two biggest stars right now, and to just beat her at Hell in the Cell, I think it hurts her a lot more than it hurt Becky. And I think you could keep Becky and Sasha going if Sasha wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a chance for her to win the title last month at Clash of Champions, right? Because it seemed like coming back real hot. She gets the win. It cements her as being back. And I think it's fine they didn't because of the way that match played out, being fought across the arena. So not a problem with that. But Raj, you're right. She's got to win Sunday because you can't bring somebody back with that much momentum and not give them that kind of comeuppance moment. And I think, honestly, we're talking about Becky being so great right now, but I think now's the time. Throw a roadblock in her way, right? Like, we all are behind Becky, but give her something to fight for. And Sasha Banks, even if she doesn't win it back from Sasha, if Sasha wins the title on Sunday and carries it on for the next couple of months and they continue this feud, I think it would be good for Becky as well.
Well, the math makes sense. So Charlotte tapped out Bayley tonight to win this. They were talking about her perhaps earning another opportunity at the SmackDown Women's Championship. I could see that getting added to the card. If not at Hell in a Cell, maybe next Friday on SmackDown, that gets added. Charlotte gets the title. Becky moves over to SmackDown after losing the Raw title. And we got a pretty good storyline right there.
Between Charlotte and Becky?
Yeah, between Charlotte and Becky on SmackDown.
We've seen that.
I know, but think about what you just said, though, Matt, today.
No, I'd love that. But yeah.
And the ending tonight makes me think even more that Fox sees this as really sports emphasized in the sports entertainment. They want athleticism. They want credible competitors. Charlotte versus Becky is the most athletic female match.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Definitely that, for sure. And I love why I told you guys, I could watch that match 900 times in a row. I don't know if everybody else would. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just got out of a storyline together.
I also think you run the risk right now, too, of WWE putting all of its emphasis on the 4 horsewomen, and rightfully deserved for those 4, but also the rest of the division exists, and there's a lot of great talent out there, and I want to see that brought to the forefront. I mean, you have the Women's Tag Team Championships. You can have some other feuds in there. Let's bring that up a little bit more.
Well, don't you think that happens, though? If that happens and she goes to SmackDown, you now have Becky and Flair on SmackDown. Raw is now opened up.
Sure.
Sasha can run that place. You know, who else does she have? At Lacey?
Bayley turns face again.
Yeah.
But she can run roughshod over everybody, is my point. Sasha.
Yeah.
She might even be a face. We don't even know. I mean, they've done such a bad job with Bayley.
And the way they... I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Glenn. You good.
Oh, I was going to say, the way they haven't fully turned Bayley makes me think that's the plan. Right? Because she's not very heelish still for a heel. And why wouldn't you turn somebody full if you're going to turn them right back?
I don't have the answer to that.
I think there's a lot of great talent, too. I mean, you talk about Ember Moon has been on and off the main roster scene for a hot minute, and I think she's great. I think Asuka, right? I know WWE's never really wanted to double down on her, and they
don't know why. I don't know why.
And she, I mean, they literally took the title from her a week before Mania this year, and it broke my heart. But she's fantastic as well, and I think she brings in a different kind of, a different kind of persona that we don't have. And
she's charismatic. She doesn't give her much promo time. She doesn't speak very good English, but she's still crazily charismatic.
The energy, yes.
Same as Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's someone that hasn't gotten a real chance yet at all, and so. And she's got a very cool, sympathetic character. She's just natural babyface.
Dude, she's Jeff Hardy. She's a Jeff Hardy babyface, dude.
Totally.
Let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode, which is AEW, All Elite Wrestling. The revolution continues with Pardon me. Let's do another take of that. Wednesdays on TNT. The revolution continues with All Elite Wrestling. Dynamite. It's the most exciting professional wrestling in the last decade. Made for wrestling fans by the wrestlers themselves. AEW flies higher, hits harder, and with their all-inclusive roster of superstars, they're breaking all boundaries. This week, it's the opening round of the tag team tournament with the Young Bucks against Private Party, live from Boston. All Elite Wrestling. Dynamite. AEW Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on TNT. And of course, it also runs on 8 p.m. on the West Coast if your cable provider or satellite streaming service does not carry the feed live. Matt, AEW this past week, are you looking forward to the tag tournament coming up?
Hell yeah. A Private Party versus the Bucks?
It's going to be great.
Dude, I wish I was on the first show. Like that's going to be amazing. That's going to be an amazing tag match. And those guys, Private Party, this is going to be a very big making match for them.
Yeah. Raj, what are you looking forward to on this next episode? We're going to see the fallout from the heel stable that emerged with Jericho and his team at the end of the first episode.
Yeah, and also just announced today, it's going to be Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho versus Dustin Rhodes and Hangman Page.
Oh, wow.
So, that'll be awesome. Chris Jericho in action again. So, I mean, that'll be really good. Young Bucks, their first, not singles, but their first tag match, without the 6-man tag. That'll be exciting. The tag, the tag division, the tag tournament moving on. So, it'll be a loaded show.
Absolutely. AEW All Elite Wrestling Dynamite Wednesdays, 8 p.m. 7 Central, only on TNT. And this week, the Young Bucks against Private Party live from Boston, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. 7 Central on TNT. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Back to tonight. Interesting online people were talking about this going along with the sports feel. Erin Andrews got a lot of screen time tonight.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Yes, you could have gotten a better mainstream, host or former host, to come out there and do an amazing job the way she just did. You can tell she watched wrestling too.
You know who was really good? Did you guys watch the blue carpet special?
Yes.
The blonde lady, she works for Fox. She was kind of
Shell Beetle?
No, she was talking to the Bella twins. If someone in the chat knows, please throw her up. But she was just a natural. She reminded me of Kathy Kelly, Renee Young. I mean, she was just a natural. She was awesome.
The presentation tonight, let's talk about this. The presentation tonight made Raw on USA look like SmackDown on UPN. Those sets tonight, the pyro, the entrances.
First thing my wife said, she goes, "How do you think USA is going to take this?" I was like, "What are you asking that?"
USA looked good too with the new set, and
it didn't look that good.
Skateboarding ramp. Carissa Thompson, people are saying, yes, that's who it was. Carissa Thompson on the blue carpet. She was amazing. But I like that the sets look different. In the past they have basically the same exact set, and then one is blue and one is red. So I like that they look different. I think they both look good, but yeah, SmackDown does look better, and it should.
I think that Raw's set was interesting. You mentioned the skateboard design, right? That skateboard design is something they haven't done before. That kind of roll over the front, that waterfall was cool. But what I also noticed on Monday night was some of the guys, when they would come out, especially the bigger guys, they kind of made that set look small by comparison, I felt like. Like tonight's set felt big, and when you saw Roman Reigns come out and the pyro hit, it felt like a big event. And I honestly felt like Raw's set was still unique, and I think that was cool. But I did feel like it felt a little bit tinier than what we typically get from a Raw. I don't know if it's just the screen was lower or what that was. But
did you notice during Reigns' entrance, the angle they played it on for real quick as he's walking out? It kind of looked 3D-ish.
Yeah.
Am I imagining that? I don't know. I thought it looked very different. Like they were trying to go for 3. I don't know.
They definitely used some new camera angles. I noticed it there and a few other times with the show to kind of give this show a more dynamic feel than what you kind of can get with some things. And I thought that was cool. They even brought in the 3D graphics they used for pay-per-views, which was neat.
If I'm NBC Universal, I was on the phone tonight saying we are going to have an all-hands meeting midnight Eastern time tonight with the Raw production team saying, what can we do Monday to not look like a high school musical compared to Broadway?
Yeah, but outside of the set and the stage, the show, after the beginning was still kind of, it's the usual WWE show, right? It didn't feel different. The booking felt the same.
No, did you see the Shane McMahon and what Kevin Owens went to commercial break and they came back? When they did, they put it back up on the screen. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. That's new.
Right. So yeah, so the graphics and stuff, they've changed that a little bit. But as far as making one of the younger talent look like a superstar and like really doing that push for one of the younger, you know what I mean? Like the problems that have been plaguing them.
Oh, yeah.
It looks great. They've upgraded their look and everything else. But outside of that, the flow of the show, how it's booked, all that was still regular SmackDown. For people who are expecting a big change on that front, we didn't see it tonight.
Well, and especially on the wrestling side of things, right? They didn't. I mean, we talked about the women's match earlier. There was a lot of wrestling in that, but the Roman Reigns, Eric Rowan it was a wrestling match, but they kind of were fighting outside a lot and a lot of interference. And so, if you're looking for a more what we would call, I don't know, pure wrestling product, say whatever you will about that, you definitely didn't get that here tonight. You got more, to your point, typical WWE style booking, typical WWE style matches, good high energy stuff, and I thought it played well on TV tonight. But yeah, nothing dramatically different.
Yeah, in week 4, it's going to be kind of the same SmackDown, just with a facelift. Yeah.
Pacing though tonight, I liked that nothing went on, or most of it didn't go on longer than it needed to tonight. Very fast paced.
I thought Rowan versus Roman did. But.
That did go on longer. But aside from that, though,
they didn't have time to do it, right?
Where are we, Glenn?
Where are we? We are at Shinsuke Nakamura with Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. Now, there was a Firefly Funhouse before this match, and the Fiend didn't interrupt and attack Seth. What did you think of the Fox crowd, this mainstream audience, their introduction to Bray Wyatt tonight?
Good. You didn't think it was good?
I didn't think it was the best Firefly Funhouse, but for me, he should have been. They should have just reshown the pull up your pants and do the Muscle Man dance one again. I think that's the gold standard for Firefly Funhouses.
Yeah.
Gets up really jazzed for Hell in a Cell when he does the Muscle Man, I tell you what.
There's a picture on Twitter of the Fox executives at ringside when this was happening, and they just look so confused.
For real?
So
the attack was cool.
Yeah.
Seth looked like a dope by not looking behind him. He's at the. It's the exact thing that happened to Lawler. Just turn around. Don't just be staring at the ring. Just turn around and look behind you for a second. I'm worried that they're gonna have Seth beat Bray because Seth has looked so weak the last month. He's just been beaten at every turn. That just how WWE does things.
Hey, you out of your freaking mind.
I don't think it makes any sense in the world, but I can
Bray
see
Wyatt's shoulders are going to be pinned to the mat for 3 seconds, is what you're saying.
I hope not, but I'm worried that they might do it because of just how bad Seth has looked. They made him look.
Well, they might not. Okay, I could see them doing something where they end the show with some kind of confusion. Something happens, somebody comes out, and everything. I don't know, something weird WWE does.
Cain Velasquez comes out and attacks the Fiend.
No, nobody attacks the Fiend. He's the hottest thing on that damn show. That brand, they cannot. No.
Look, if I'm booking it, Bray beats him in a semi squash.
I don't know if you've heard us talk about this before, Michael, but like I was saying, they should not have booked this with Bray. Bray should not be anywhere near the World Championship. Not because it's not good enough, because it doesn't fit his character. It doesn't do anything for him whatsoever. Is he going to wear the title? Is he going to throw it over his shoulder? What the hell is he going to do with it? It's going to look stupid. And Seth takes another L, more importantly, as well. This is where they book themselves into corners, a la Sasha versus Becky as well. Those two shouldn't have been touching that early either.
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting take, Matt. And him, what is a guy like the Fiend? Why does he even want a championship? Right? He's supposed to cause chaos. He's the Joker
from bigger. Like I'm saying that, but he's bigger than that title, I think.
Yeah, he's this persona that kind of I think is bigger than the show. I think you're right. You could play it where he wins the title, and whenever he's Bray Wyatt being giddy, going on weird weather segments, he has it, and then when he's the Fiend, he doesn't. I could see that working.
With the nerdy Bray Wyatt, yeah.
Just the Bray happy Firefly Funhouse guy. Sure. He's got it. But then is he a fighting champion?
No,
I think it's
to
interesting.
torch that thing. He needs to torch it.
Seth, I don't think it matters for Seth. I think Seth has been so like giddy. Gee golly whiz, guys, WWE, we're so great. I think if he loses, it's fine. But yeah, the Fiend is a weird choice to be champion.
No, if I'm looking at, do you guys remember that John Cena Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam where Lesnar just destroyed him for 20 minutes?
Yes.
That's what they should do this Sunday with
it was like
Bray
a
Wyatt.
holiday.
Yeah.
We all loved it.
It was awesome.
He came out
That's
and
what they
said
should
goodbye.
do.
He was like out there like that same night, and he was like, "All right, I'm taking some time off." And the next night, he was back on Raw.
Yeah. But I think that would be a powerful way for Bray to win. Just kill him for 20 minutes and then pin him. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
So we got the ladder match tonight. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. Loser leaves town or loser leaves WWE. I'm still not convinced we've seen the end of this.
Say what happened.
Well, Kevin Owens won. He got on the ladder, got the briefcase. Shane, I gotta give props. That was the best coast to coast he's done as far as hitting the distance.
He looked bigger tonight. I don't know if you guys caught that. His body, he looked more jacked. Actually.
Well, maybe Shane's going to NXT now. You know, he's gonna be off SmackDown.
He looked, I mean, serious, noticeably like 5 pounds of muscle gain. Like I'm not exaggerating.
He's been pretty big for. I mean, he's pretty jacked.
Maybe the network did something. I don't know. The angles made him look different, but his arms look much bigger.
Yeah.
Don't sell it short, Glenn. That was his patented coast to coast.
Yeah, but no, because normally they have to trick it with the camera. He doesn't get that last 2 or 3 feet sometimes, but tonight,
dude, that's a hell of a bump. That is an L5 popping waiting to happen. And also, I didn't like the timing on the commercial breaks, and that's on the guys in that ring too. I'm surprised they went to commercial break right after Shane hit the top rope to the outside, elbow drop through the table spot. The best part of that is not really the elbow drop. It's always the fans' reaction to it. And they couldn't get any fans' reaction to it because they went right to commercial break as soon as he hit it. And then they come back from commercial break. And next thing you know, Kevin Owens is on the top rope, jumping onto the outside ladder as Shane was prone laying on and busted ladder in half, right? And Michael Cole's really quick excuse was, we're back from commercial break, and I can't believe Kevin Owens is back up. Folks, this commercial break is we've been on commercial break now for almost 7 minutes. Kevin, say something. So that elbow that Shane threw meant something. You know what I mean? That Kevin had to dig deep to come back to where he was at. Instead, it was just like Kevin Owens is back up on his feet.
Yeah.
And jumping off the top rope with his flying Walanda through the friggin', Shane on the ladder there. That was a nasty bump.
Yeah, they threw a lot in this match. I mean, Shane hit the elbow from the top rope to the outside on the table.
That's what I say. Really quick, did you see the fans' reaction to that? The frog splash through Shane through the ladder that Kevin did? Did you see the fans' reaction? Great camera shots WWE's been getting of the fans giving legit reactions.
Yeah. I mean, this was a fun match. It was everything you'd want it to be. And it wasn't too long. It didn't drag. Shane looked good. Kevin Owens looked good. And the right person won.
Very big commercial break, but whatever.
Yeah.
It did seem weird, but it was fast paced, and they hit all their big spots too. So if you're a casual fan, you tune in, you're like, "Holy crap, wrestling's awesome!" Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought all in all that was an okay match. So yes, Shane, Kevin Owens fired Shane at the end of that, delivered a stunner, dropped him in the middle of the ring. We'll see. We'll see if Shane shows up Friday on next week's SmackDown, or maybe Monday on Raw.
Or maybe he wrestles in NXT now, future NXT champion Shane McMahon.
Hey, it could happen.
I think they'll probably keep him off TV for a while. I think they're going to respect the stip since it is Fox, and I think they want to make sure it means something.
So tonight, being the debut on Fox, no local enhancement talent for Braun Strowman. Instead, we get Braun Strowman, The Miz, and Heavy Machinery versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. Now, everybody hit their finisher, it seemed like, in this match, but this was really about Braun getting into it in the audience with Tyson Fury and getting a definitive win, scooping up Ziggler for the power slam at the end there. While I didn't like the ending with Cain Velasquez, I thought the Tyson Fury thing, like that, I'm all about that. Good exhibition match with those two.
Tyson Fury is the one who sold that angle, by the way. It wasn't Braun. Braun was goofy laugh and a lot like fake laugh thing. Wasn't that I don't want to see that. I want to see the monster pissed off that there's another monster staring across from him and calling him out. Tyson Fury is money.
He is. He was a natural out there. I mean, he looked great. The thing I liked about Braun kind of laughing it off is it made it look more real. Like it looked more shootish. Like it didn't seem as like they're working an angle. Like Tyson Fury legit got pissed, and Braun is just trying to play it off because he knows you're not supposed to, he can't attack a celebrity. Like in real life, that's probably what would happen is that he would, he's not going to get in a celebrity's face. He knows Vince would be pissed. So
It made him look like a little bit of a prick, though. Isn't Braun Strowman still? He's still a decent guy in our minds, but he kind of looked like a jerk. He's just like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because he kind of got in Tyson Fury's face first.
Yeah, it was his fault, right?
Like he was antagonizing him with this.
There was also the production moment here too that I thought was great. Was the ringside security flew to Fury. I mean, they were just on top of him in a matter of seconds, and it made it look super dramatic. And he's sitting there fighting through 20 guys trying to get. That was a really cool moment too. And I think, Sol, to your point, Matt, the intensity of what Fury was bringing to the table there.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. You remember that angle when the security just swarmed, and it just made it look so real because of it.
What I liked about this, and it kind of proves the point that with Brock and Kane, you don't need a title in this. They could do this match at Crown Jewel, Tyson versus Braun Strowman, huge payday. WWE would get everything they wanted out of it. You don't need to have a belt involved in something like this.
No, you don't. No.
Yeah, but Tyson, he could. I mean, he looks more like a wrestler than Cain Velasquez. I mean, Cain is a legit bad dude,
right?
But as far as, in wrestling, a lot of times that doesn't matter. Haku was probably the baddest guy ever in the biz, but, he had a ceiling.
Kane, entertainment. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not even close. Tyson is way more valuable.
There's a certain level of show you need, and I think Fury brings that just off of his size and his presence. And
he made me go back to loving watching boxing again. He's why I went back, not Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
He was. I was like, this dude's promos are freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's got charisma. He just gets it.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
And that's the thing. I am not against bringing in other athletes. I enjoyed when the Fridge showed up in WWF back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not against that. It's to be very clear of my critique of the ending of the show. It's about just doing away with all of the goodwill and credit that you've built, the equity you've built in your champion, and what they did with Kofi tonight. That's the issue.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh, the Fridge.
The Fridge. I still think. What do you guys think it was the best celebrity involvement in wrestling? For me, it's either Mr. T or Mike Tyson, but that might be too easy.
It has to be. It has to not Tyson. It has to be. For me, it was Mr. T. But the Fridge pulling Big John Studd over the top rope was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the obvious and Drew Carey, I have to go with Jay Leno, Dennis Rodman. Oh, the list goes on and on. No, I think Mr. T absolutely belonged in that ring, looked the part, elevated it. But in a non-wrestling role, definitely Cyndi Lauper still.
Cyndi Lauper.
You're going to scoff at Cyndi Lauper here? Michael's too young to realize this. Michael, the reason why we watch wrestling, what did we determine what it was, Raj? It was 33% was Cyndi Lauper. The reason why in the 80s wrestling became so popular. It was Rocky 3, it was Cyndi Lauper, and I can't remember what the other third was.
Mr. T.
Mr. T, there you go.
Wow.
Although Mr. T was in Rocky 3, so that's a little kind of...
Yeah.
That's a twofer.
What about you, Michael?
Oh, favorite athlete of all time. I did an article on this. I'm trying to remember some of the names I put on that article a few months back. Though, I won't say my favorite, but one of my earlier memories is of Butterbean, and I was younger when Butterbean. yeah, right. That whole thing he did with Mark Moreau, and I just thought that was, as a younger kid at the time, it was like, oh, this is cool, like these worlds collide kind of thing. Yeah.
Did you say Mark Moreau?
Yeah.
Mark Marrow.
Mark Marrow. I don't know.
That's like Jim Neidhart.
We don't pronounce names correctly on this podcast. We've established that.
Me and Matt do.
Just that whole brawl for the all.
Oh, damn.
It's very good on the chest and the stomach. It's fading now.
Yeah. Someone's going to screen cap this. Someone's going to use this to cite on the Wikipedia and be like, here's proof. Here's verification. This is real.
Honestly, though, Mark Henry is the greatest crossover athlete of all time, though, right? Let's just call it like it is. Right?
Oh.
Who was?
Mark Henry,
right? I don't know about the greatest of all time. He's one of the greatest, right? He had a long career in wrestling, world's strongest man. It's hard to find. I mean, that kind of crossover athlete. We'll get to more about this in a minute with Cain Velasquez, but that takes something special to be a true champion in both sports.
You're forgetting Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
And Brock Lesnar by far is the
jury's still out. Jury's still out on Lesnar. Kurt Angle though. Kurt Angle.
Shamrock could have been.
Dude, what'd you say?
Ken Shamrock could have been.
Yeah. He still can be. He's still wrestling. Never know.
He was so good. They were pushing him over the Rock, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was beating the Rock most of their matches.
Braun Strowman won that tonight, got into it with Tyson Fury. It was broken up. Backstage, just the 24/7 championship. This should have been the turn where we knew maybe something's amiss with this Fox interference. DJ Marshmello pinned Carmella for the 24/7 championship.
See, this is when they need to pull the reins in. This is what I'm talking about. This is the crap. I couldn't explain this to a mainstream fan. Could you? Oh, DJ, blah, blah. Nobody knows what that is.
I still don't know.
On The Masked Singer this week, they were guessing him a lot. He's been a frequent guess. When people were trying to guess who it is, but that's the first time I ever heard of DJ Marshmello. I had no clue.
Yeah, and I think too, the 24/7 title's been used in this capacity for so long that I think the gimmick of seeing a mainstream celebrity win it, they've done that already, and I don't think it added that much to
aim higher than DJ freaking Marshmello.
If you're gonna have a celebrity win it, have it be a celebrity. Someone that people know.
If that's the biggest star you can get when you're in Los Angeles all day, not shooting live, pre-taping something. Backstage, if DJ Marshmello is the biggest name you can book, resign from your job. Yeah. Get in new industries. Take up farming. You're not cut out as a producer or a talent picker.
Take up farming. The ultimate insult. If you're no good at your job, go be a farmer. We need more farmers, Glenn. Come on, dude. Come on.
I'm just saying you're in the wrong line of work. You could have gone out on the street corner in LA in the middle of the day and found a bigger celebrity than DJ Marshmello.
I mean, you also had Kurt Angle, Mick Foley at ringside.
DJ Marshmello, if you're listening, we're sorry.
DJ Marshmello, I've never heard your music.
Yes.
I'm sure it's great. I mean, you're no Dolly Parton, but then
also,
again,
who are you?
Yeah. But you're not that. You're not even the most famous DJ that wears a mask. Deadmau5 is way more popular and way more well known.
Hashtag take it home, Glenn.
This is Fox. This is my beloved Fox. The home to Married with Children. The home to my beloved 21 Jump Street. The home to The Adventures of Beans Baxter. The home to Werewolf. The home to The X-Files. The home to Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles. The home to Family Guy. The home to Undeclared. The home to Rock Live.
Are you looking at Wikipedia right now, Glenn?
No, this is off the top of my head. I'm going to see how many I can keep naming. The home to In Living Color.
All right.
Let's go.
The home to Parker Lewis.
We've got a lot to still get
Lewis.
To.
Synchronized watches, gentlemen. DJ freaking Marshmello. Anyhow, Lumberjack match. Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns. Credit to the WWE in treating tonight like Mania and getting all the talent out there. I have to say that was cool to get as many guys on camera as possible tonight.
Yeah, that's the WrestleMania motif, right? Put all the guys in there. We're going to do lumberjack matches, multi-man matches, 5-on-5. Yeah, it's cool for tonight, but you can't do it every week.
Yeah.
You just know who's not important by who's the lumberjack, right?
Seriously, yes.
That's all it says.
I remember they had something like that when I was on SmackDown. It was Stone Cold and Brock were kind of going at it, setting up Brock versus Goldberg for WrestleMania 20. Brock stole his four-wheeler.
Oh yeah,
right.
Cole came back or something like that to get it back or whatever, and then the whole SmackDown locker room lined up at the entrance, and Brock had to walk in between all of us to get to the ring. We were pissed at him or something like that. Meanwhile, I was just on his team 3 weeks earlier, but I'll digress. I feel I remember feeling like a scrub being out there. Do you know what I mean? Because it was you were like Bobby Roode chasing for the 24/7 title. Do you know what I mean? That feeling,
right?
Could you opt out of that, Matt, when you were there? Could you be like,
no, dude, you're happy and you're privileged to be there, dude. No, you cannot do that.
Yeah, it was like when Asuka was chasing for the 24/7 title. It was like, oh no, this is the level she's at now.
So there's something to it then, because if you fans see it, then the wrestlers themselves feel it. Then it's true.
And there's some people that can serve in those roles. I mean, R-Truth has been great as 24/7, and he's embraced it. But yeah, you can't just put people who aren't in your main event out there to make them look like cannon fodder.
Right.
Yeah.
So this match went on for a day and a half. It's still going on, perhaps. They just cut away from it. Roman Reigns won this. Him and Daniel gonna beat Harper and Rowan on Sunday? You think?
So that's the third match. That's the only other. That's the non-Hell in a Cell match announced so far. It's Roman and Daniel Bryan against Harper and Rowan. I think Daniel Bryan turns on Roman. I think it turns out that he was. Yes. I still think it turns out that he was the one that was behind it the whole time. The whole Roman attack.
That's the only way to salvage this. But yes.
Yeah, and I think that's why Roman got the win here tonight. They're going to get beat this Sunday. Like Roman's going to take the L. Raj math.
It's opposite. But if that's the case, Seth is going to beat the Fiend.
Well, you got to make exceptions here.
That ain't happening.
I think true. Roman Reigns looks really, he was out there, and I like what they've done with him recently. So it's okay if he loses on Sunday, and I think in this match it would be fine. There for a while he was unbeatable. I'm glad that they've kind of put him back in a more realistic.
I like him more. Like this. Yes. He's getting other people over, dude. He's a workhorse, man.
I mean, he's good in the ring. People
he's
just
really good
like
in the ring. Yes. Yeah. And I think people are getting a chance to see that now, how good he is in that ring, because they're taking all the heat off him of being shoved down their throats. And they're starting to see why he was the chosen one. Dude is money. He looks like $1 million. He cuts a good enough promo to be in the main event. He's not great, but it's good enough. And his in-ring work is really good. Very underrated. Still to this day, I would argue.
And he's better when you let the reins off him a little bit for promo work too, right? Like the scripted stuff didn't play to his strengths, I don't think. So,
yeah.
And then we come to the main event after Roman Reigns won this match. Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston.
Mike, you don't like Glenn's dramatic introductions?
And the match we come, and that's the rest of the story.
This exchange we just had here, this was longer than the match itself.
Yeah.
Bell to bell.
Oh yeah, it was.
What was it?
Brock put down Kofi, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. One F5 cover for the pin and the win.
7 seconds. It was 7 seconds.
On the record. Is that his record then? I thought that was the quickest win of all time, was like 6 or 7 seconds.
I think this must be. Daniel Bryan lost the title to Sheamus, and I think that was like 9 seconds. So what
about The Rock over Rowan?
No, for a championship match, this would be the record. I think there's been shorter matches before, but for a world championship match, I think this beats Daniel Bryan and Sheamus for the shortest ever. I mean, you can't get shorter. Really, you can't get shorter than this.
Bushwhacker Lou coming through the Battle Royal
at the Royal Rumble. Santino, I think Santino beat that record.
He did.
Yeah. Yep. New WWE champion Brock Lesnar, and then Rey Mysterio comes out. Oh, but he's not alone. Now, apparently a lot of people on the Twitter thought it was his son Dominic, but no, it's UFC heavyweight Cain Velasquez. By the way, not a good thing. I'm sure Cain Velasquez
commonly
is
get
a
them
nice
confused.
Guy.
Hungland, do you commonly get Cain Velasquez and Dominic confused?
That's what people thought, because we're used to seeing Ray with Dominic.
It's true.
If you see a shadow,
Ray and Dominic bring Cain out, but just Ray and Dominic would have been like, what, you're looking to get your ass thrashed twice? It made no sense.
I didn't like that about this segment, I think. So it's cool that Cain Velasquez came out there, but I honestly thought him walking down the ramp dramatically. Ray's music hits. He pops out there. Dominic's with him. He points, and Brock Lesnar's like, whatever, laughing. And then behind him shows up Cain Velasquez. I think that's an oh my God moment. I think Cain Velasquez dramatically walking down took just a smidge. I mean, I'm being nitpicky here, I know, but I think it took a little bit away because it just slowed down the pace of the segment.
You're saying you would have liked Cain Velasquez to appear behind Brock, like Bray Wyatt kind of does, kind of gimmick?
Sure, I mean, no lights go out or whatever, but all of a sudden Cain Velasquez just pops up behind him, and
like from the crowd or something.
Yeah, Brock gets the back. One up like that, and because I think coming out with Ray just almost made him feel like he's Ray's buddy, and I know he is.
Well, yeah,
but I would have liked Cain just to be out there behind him, just like, and he's
That's
there.
The rub for Ray, though, isn't it? Isn't
true? It's true. Yeah.
Or vice versa, even Ray introducing a UFC fighter that maybe some of these people don't know.
Yeah, but Ray could have done the whole pointing behind you. And then behind him is Cain. I kind of agree. It was kind of. I think Cain wearing the knee brace also. It felt kind of. I don't know, like Brock is scared of a guy that's injured when you've built him up. I don't know. I just felt like he should have had that knee brace off, or I don't know if you could put it under your jeans or whatever. But
Brock is scared of nobody, right? That's the point. Brock should be scared of nobody. Cain Velasquez surprises him, and that's why he's like, "Oh my god," I don't know.
But regardless of how it was done, Brock being afraid of Cain makes all the sense in the world because Cain beat his ass in the UFC. That's true. He gave him a thrashing in that fight. I remember watching that live.
Is why he's got that big shiner here, right? That big mark.
Like it remains to this day.
Yeah. That's from Cain, I thought.
Yeah, so we were talking again about entertainment, and Brock looks ripped. Cain, I think he should wear a shirt or something. I don't know. He just does not look. It's
That's the thing with UFC. That's the thing with UFC. The guys don't always look like that.
Pop your shirt off, Raj. Show him how it's done. Show him how a champ should look.
I just see the headline coming from this podcast is somebody tweets at Cain Velasquez. Yeah. Raj Giri thinks you need to wear a shirt.
We'll have to edit this part out.
It's the UFC style. The UFC fit is a different kind of fit than a pro wrestling fit, right? Both are athletes, but you're focused on something different in UFC. And unfortunately, when you make that quick transition over, you haven't developed that same look because you're more focused on being lean and dad bod Cain.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter wrote that? That's pretty good. I'm glad I wrote that.
That was Peter Bahi, Cain. When your team shows this to you, just know we had nothing to do with that.
But it'll be interesting to see where they go because Cain has very limited wrestling training. He's done only a little bit at the Performance Center. He's wrestled a couple matches for AAA. He looked really good, but it was short spots in a tag match. So I don't know if they're building to Survivor Series. WrestleMania seems a long ways away to start that now. But yeah, they could do something, a quick short match and then build a return match, kind of similar to what they did with Goldberg.
Was it strange that Goldberg was at ringside? Anybody else think that? They flashed to him right after he won, and I was like, is that where they're going with it? Yeah, was that strange?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's back to what we were saying, like all the legends that were supposed to be there tonight. They had advertised Undertaker. Steve Austin kind of did the intro, but wasn't on camera. Ultimately, it probably worked out for the best because it focused on the current stars.
Yes, I'll always take that.
It just seemed like maybe they were teasing Goldberg and Lesnar for a minute before Cain came out, so I thought that was just a weird production thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Baron Corbin can loan Cain a vest, a black shirt.
Tuxedo vest?
Yeah, something.
Yeah. But it's interesting they're putting Cain in such a big program, and I guess that's how you'd have to do it with them, but with very limited training.
It's called stealing a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was SmackDown on Fox.
Good job, Glenn. That was awesome. That was awesome, Glenn. Great way to sign on to the show.
It's a good show. Good show, but again, if you're looking for big changes systematically in WWE, it doesn't look like they're coming. Just an upgraded look, good graphics and everything.
That's a big okay, but how long have we been on there? We got to be fair here, though, Raj, because we've been on there. You know what? For how many years about not changing anything aesthetically about their presentation, their show, their stage, their ring. Remember we were saying, how do they change it? Is the ring change? Does the lighting change? Does the sound stage change? Something needs to change in this business in general, right? And I keep thinking it has to do with something with the aesthetics. So this I thought was a step in the right direction. This did not look like the normal SmackDown, except yes, it was blue everywhere. So yeah, that part. But the stage I thought was humongous. And it just kept drawing my eyes to it. I thought it was cool. And I like the energy in tonight's matches. Everybody was on their game, I thought, tonight. A little bit more pep in their step.
Everyone definitely, and the crowd as well, treated it like it was a big deal.
No, you also gave fans a reason to tune back in next week. This is always super important when you do wrestling shows, which is you had a great hook at the end. Whether or not you liked it, it's still a hook, right? A guy shows up and beats the crap out of your new champion. And you're advertising the draft. There's a pay-per-view on Sunday. So I think also it's good show tonight, reason for fans who checked it out once tonight to tune back in next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd give it an A.
Yeah, same here. I give it definitely A. Did you see the Lakers jerseys in the background, by the way? The retired Lakers jerseys up in the rafters there?
No.
It's pretty freaking sweet, dude. It's iconic. I'm surprised they didn't turn the lights off for that, but they had the spotlight lit on that on certain angles.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'd give it an A- only because I was so partial to the Kofi Kingston title run. I just love what they did with him, and he worked so hard for it.
Yeah.
It sucked. That part does suck.
But Michael, that's sort of indicative, though, of Matt's point. Like, fans will eat up this crap and keep coming back. We're like, the Kofi thing, yeah, disrespectful, whatever, but still overall an A-. I mean, it was good. It's like, dude, like, that's because I don't really
Well,
bother
Kofi still should not have won. So
No.
even though you didn't like him getting squashed that quickly, I still think he should have gotten squashed just a little bit longer. But for where they went, I still thought it was the right move.
You're not gonna turn them off. You're gonna watch them again.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We all
Brock. I mean, that's the one thing with Brock. He keeps people interested.
Look what a good match Daniel Bryan had against Brock, even though he lost. They told a really good story.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So with Kofi, come on, like something. I didn't need to be that, but just something more than what we got.
Daniel Bryan had me there for a second. I was like, holy.
Yeah.
Remember that? You guys remember that?
AJ Styles too.
Yeah, AJ was saying Lesnar and Styles is people don't talk about it. Good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But Daniel Bryan was my favorite. I think that was my favorite Brock Lesnar match. And
he had me. He legit had me. At first, it's like, oh, wow, he's getting squashed. Oh my god, this is getting ugly. And then like out of nowhere, DB starts coming back, and like I literally bought it, hook, line, and sinker. The upset's coming.
Yeah. So what else is going on in the world of wrestling? Raj?
Oh my god, a lot. First off, CM Punk. So it looks like he got the Fox Sports gig. Apparently, they're going to make an offer. They made him the offer. It looks like he accepted. So he's going to be hosting that WWE Studios show. Jeff Hardy was arrested last night in Moore County, North Carolina. He was charged with driving while impaired. He was released from custody at around 11:30 p.m. that night, and there weren't additional details given, citing an ongoing investigation. But this is the second time he's been arrested this year. The first time was earlier this year. It was in Myrtle Beach, and that was not for driving. It was just for public intoxication. And
they released him, though?
No.
At nighttime, you said?
Yeah, they did. Oh, from the jail. I thought you meant the WWE release him. No.
So the same night he got arrested, they released him 11:30 that same night?
Yep.
How impaired could he have been then? If you would, usually you don't release him. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got a history, so if they release him, I don't know. But yeah, he was released that night.
Did you spend the night? I'm surprised.
Yeah, so Jeff, he's been on the shelf with an injury since April, and it's been kind of a lot of things in the past with Jeff. Hopefully he can turn his life around and get better. But
he did, and he has. And this is just a speed bump. Not everybody gets to beat this stuff and immediately beat it and never go back to it. Like I never relapsed, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't always happen. I'm not bragging, but that you relapse multiple times generally before you finally beat whatever that demon is.
Well, and some people
part of his recovery. It doesn't mean he's not going to be recovered.
And also, if it's, I hate to say this, but if it's just alcohol as opposed to drugs, that's obviously a lot less serious than the stuff he dealt with in the past.
Although alcohol is a drug,
but it's legal.
And the other,
but it's legal. Raj, really?
Yeah, most people drink. Most adults drink.
Yeah.
It's not like it's
on it. You can OD on these drugs, though, Glenn.
No, you can't. Well, and alcohol DTs.
Well, duh, let's not have any. How about that?
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's all serious. It's all serious. I'm just saying, like, you guys are parents. Would you rather have your kid smoke a joint or get really hammered?
But I'd rather them get hammered than be caught with a bunch of Percocet and drugs in there.
It's not illegal. The difference is with this, I think, and we talk about what's kind of going on here, is it's equally serious to the individual, but from a societal standpoint, this is not illegal as some things he has partaken in the past.
I know we've talked about mental health.
You don't know what you're going on about.
No, but what I'm telling you, I think the reason why alcoholism is so much more prevalent and so much more of a problem is because it's legal and it's more accessible, and that's why.
That's a different issue, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's still, these are all, Matt, we talked about this the other night. These are all symptoms of something greater that's going on with him. This is just what he's doing.
Absolutely, that you're masking. Yes.
No, and I hope absolutely that he gets help for whatever he's dealing with, because that's the real issue.
I like Matt's point here too. I think really important to call it here when somebody's addicted to something and it's not indicative of them as an individual. It's a disease they fight with, and I think we always have this vision in our mind. Somebody goes through and does rehab, and if you did rehab, you should be better. But that's not how these kinds of diseases work. And so I think there's two sides here, right? Number one, always being sympathetic towards the individual as they fight with the struggle, but also realizing too, to a different point here, drinking and driving is illegal, right?
Yeah.
Drinking is not, but what he did is not a good thing for
No, not at
everybody
all.
else around him. And
Fair, we
you know,
need to see what this was.
I think there are consequences that can come from that. I also think WWE needs to think about what they need to do to support him. These things have been happening kind of while he's been on injury or when he's been away, but how can we support Jeff Hardy to get him back to being ring ready and public ready? Because at this point, I mean, it's a little bit toxic to want to bring him back into the ring. You know, we dealt with this with the Usos too, so.
And Matt, for superstars current and past, the WWE offers rehab services, treatment options, and
Top of
opportunities.
the line. Yes.
What I'm curious about, though, so Matt, you've been very public about your struggles and your recovery and whatnot, but for some people, it's not just that they go to rehab. I've one friend who's had a drinking problem, and he explains he literally wants to drink still, even though he's been sober for 10 years. He wants to drink so bad, he has to go to a meeting every day to talk about how bad he wants to drink to stay sober.
His burning desire is very strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Mine was outpatient treatment that helped me the most once I got out of detox and rehab. But everybody's different. Like I'm saying, Jeff is still on the road to recovery. He still is getting sober, even though this happened. This is just his pitfall. That's all it is. Doesn't mean he can't pick himself back up, and he will.
Yeah,
it seems like there have been a few more incidents. I don't like doing this because I feel like we're picking on Jeff here, but this has happened a couple more times. I think it seems like this year than maybe in past years. So again, just raising the flag on. Maybe
he's had the car accident. He's had other stuff in the past. So
and here's the other thing: when somebody like him, who needs to be—he's an artist. That's what Jeff Hardy truly is. When he has a lot of alone time like that, and he's not doing his thing, that's when things—not just him, many other entertainers and athletes. We're our own worst enemy when we're bored and we have nothing to do. That's when we're dangerous. That's when bad things happen. Honestly, so that's not an excuse, but I want to hang it on this. Just because something happened to him, and we're going to move this conversation on after I say this. This is still him recovering, and this doesn't mean he cannot continue upon that path. He's going to get better.
And people in the chat, by no way am I not saying alcoholism is not serious. So don't twist my words. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very addictive. We all understand that. That's it.
Well, and
let's
move.
Let's move on.
Let's talk about Randy Orton and what he did on Twitch last night.
Yeah, so Randy Orton last night on Twitch. Well, first let's talk about Edge has reportedly been cleared for a WWE in-ring return. So he will be...
We didn't lead with that, really?
Yeah, well, I know, right?
There was a show called SmackDown Live we had to lead with tonight, Matt.
Okay, true. But wait, he's coming back full time?
Whether or not it's full time or a limited schedule, but he is medically cleared. He's going to wrestle again. He signed a new contract with WWE.
Holy crap!
So yeah. He's 46 years old. We'll see, what kind of schedule he'll be on, but. Edge, Edge is coming back, according to the former Front Row Brian, who has broken lots of scoops in the past, including the AEW TNT deal. That's
awesome. That is awesome. Great news. He has to leave the way I'm sure he always wanted to leave the business. He's not coming back full time, I'm sure, but you know what I'm saying. He'll be able to leave on the foot he wants to leave on, hopefully.
Yeah, so this is coming from Front Row Brian, and Edge is tweeting, "No, I'm not," and "No, I'm not." So never mind.
He's just working us.
Edge is one of my all-time favorites, Raj. You just smashed my dreams.
I know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we see a lot of people who deny it, so on his Twitter right now, though, he's saying, "No, I'm not," and "No, I'm not." Damn. So we'll see.
Yeah. Randy Orton on Twitch last.
Well, first let's go. We'll do Randy Orton. Well, I was gonna say let's do the AEW ratings first, and then go to that because it's a
segue into that.
But the ratings to this Randy Orton is, I thought, more of a natural segue. But AEW Dynamite, the premiere this past Wednesday. It spanked NXT. 1.409 million viewers for Dynamite, 891,000 for NXT. So it topped NXT viewership by 58%. One of the keys was the 18 to 49 demo. And here, let me pull that up. It was because that is the prime demo that advertisers look at.
Right.
And in that demo, AEW was number 2 for the night. NXT was number 10. But AEW,
night?
yeah, for the night. And AEW did a 0.68 rating. NXT did a 0.32 rating in that demo. So it topped NXT in that demo by 112.5%, and it actually beat SmackDown in that demo. Last week's episode of SmackDown in that demo, barely 0.68 for Dynamite, 0.67 for SmackDown. So impressive debut for AEW. It's the highest rated non-WWE show on cable since Impact Wrestling on April 10th, 2014, when they did 1.42 million viewers. So it's the biggest TNT premiere in 5 years. And just big things all around. So who knows if it'll last? I'm guessing it'll fall some next week. I don't know if NXT is going to rise up. But yeah,
Great.
what are you guys' thoughts? Matt,
Awesome. Stop and smell the roses. Let's not be, I don't want to so quickly say, well, then next week's going to be their second episode. And then the third week's going to be the third episode. Therefore, the rating's going to drop a little bit. Of course, they're going to drop a little bit. I just hope that they continue to beat NXT. I just think it's a great thing all around for that to happen.
I think the unfortunate thing here for me is that they're going up against NXT, right? Because NXT is put on a great show this week, and they put on a great show every week. And it's almost like I wish they were on, if they're going to compete, I know it's not a Monday, they don't consider a war, they're not competing, they're just doing their own thing. I wish they were competing with Raw, because I think that's a difference maker right there, especially for AEW. Not that I don't think NXT affects their ratings, right? I think this week proved that, but I think you get a different feel, whereas the show they're going with just to me feels like there's overlap there. And my question is, I think this is awesome for AEW. This is huge news. What I want to know is, how many wrestling? What is our ceiling here, right? I don't think we know that yet. With WWE, we kind of know what the WWE audience is like and where we can expect those ratings to go to. We have no idea, because they're pulling from a different subset of fans, and I think that's interesting. And I think it just says maybe they have a lot to go up still, maybe they don't, but we'll find out.
Yeah. AEW, the replay did 423,000, so altogether that night is over 1.8 million. That's close to what SmackDown does. Obviously, there might be some crossover, people watching it twice, but
NXT fans watching NXT then switching over to that at 10.
Right.
Some did that.
Do you have the segment by segment ratings, Raj?
I do, but I don't know. Do we?
I thought they were interesting. I thought they, granted, it can be used to back up some agendas, but it was very interesting to see the ups and downs.
Yeah, so I mean, the overall viewership dropped throughout the show for AEW. It went from 1.6 to start to, I believe, 1.2 at the end, or 1.3. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's much else that needs to be said on that end. But
the NXT fluctuations were what I thought were most interesting, because clearly a lot of people that were watching NXT tuned over into AEW and switched back at some point.
Look, I know if Vince looks at those two shows, Vince being a showman, and sees those two presentations, and AEW with the lighting and how big the arena is and all the crowd, and it looks huge, and NXT looks like there's 50 people. They're loud, but it's dark and it's dimly lit, and it's 50 people. I mean, it looks like 50 people. It's 400. I think they're going to be out of Full Sail sooner than later if AEW continues to beat them. And AEW, it just looks like a bigger show when you're watching it, and atmosphere has a lot to do with it.
And we haven't even mentioned this. WWE issued a statement yesterday congratulating AEW.
I hate this kind of stuff. I hate it when they do things like this. Like, they're trying to control the narrative even when they can't.
When do they do this? When did they congratulate TNA or WCW or Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Well, this was actually even before the ratings came out. So WWE got their rating, and they knew that they were getting beat by AEW. So we were one of the outlets that they sent it to. The statement read, "Congratulations to AEW on a successful premiere. The real winners of last night's head-to-head telecast of NXT on USA Network and AEW on TNT are the fans, who can expect Wednesday nights to be a competitive and wild ride, as this is a marathon, not a one-night sprint." A little bit.
Okay, yes, what you said, Michael. Yes.
They like to control the narrative sometimes. I think, like, look, we're being nice, but really,
they choke hold.
Right.
Yeah, so it was like, we lost today. We're going to come out ahead of it before the actual ratings get out.
They had me at first. I was like, wow, I'm really, really proud of them. I was like, that's pretty big. They never, ever admit the enemy or the competitor or anything. Remember TNT? They would never utter those words, ever.
No.
Kind of crazy. What else do we got? Tonight, Bobby Lashley and Lana were on the blue carpet before SmackDown.
Yeah. Well, and now I was going to transition to Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah. Randy Orton praised AEW on Twitch last night.
Yeah, so Randy Orton was doing a Twitch last night. He's clearly pretty tipsy. The video's on Wrestling Inc. But at one point, he was like, speaking of Vince, that AEW was effing cool, huh? Did you watch the show last night? Oh, my God. I'll tell you what. It's that big match feel, the big show feel. And then later he was talking about Cody and Sammy Guevara, and he said, Cody and Sammy Guevara, that kid can do some shit. I'd love to work with that kid. They had a great match. I thought opening the show with that match was a good idea and well received. So Orton, all praise. He can get away with it. Obviously, if Chad Gable said that, it would be a different story. I think he would not have been a lumberjack tonight, or he would have gotten laid out or something. But, Randy Orton is Randy Orton, and he doesn't give a F. And
he didn't go over the top with it either. He didn't demean his own company.
Right. Yeah.
There's also an element too, I think here. Honestly, both of these guys, I mean, AEW guys, all these guys, I should say, AEW guys, WWE guys, they all want the industry as a whole to grow here. And I think that is what's different now than maybe even back in the Monday Night Wars, which is back then we're cutting each other for the same audience. Whereas now people understand we can grow this whole industry together. WWE still wants to be the alpha company, and they will for, maybe forever, right? But in the meantime, we can help bring fans back into the fold who might have fallen away. And so I think that is a healthy level of competition.
Thanks, Mike. AEW, NXT, proceed.
Could you imagine if AEW had run on Tuesdays?
What?
When SmackDown vacated Tuesday, if AEW had run on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, I think they would have popped a bigger rating.
No, the NXT would have been on Tuesdays then.
I think so.
Yeah. This is all a reaction. I mean, the reason why they do no commercial breaks, all that, was a reaction to AEW.
I think if both were on Tuesdays, it probably both would have benefited.
I don't think so.
Because habits, man. How many people did you see on Twitter Tuesday? I watched Total Divas for the first time, for Christ's sakes, because there was nothing on Tuesday wrestling.
And Total Divas did its lowest premiere in history.
And you're welcome.
Right? Yeah, you were the guy that watched it.
You're trying to bring people into the fold who would to watch live TV. Period. There, right? The challenge isn't getting people to watch different nights. It is I'm going to watch Netflix instead of watching live TV. That's the difference here.
And Glenn, to your point, yes, this week NXT would have probably done a better rating on Tuesday nights. But with basketball season coming up, it would preempt AEW constantly because they air on
basketball. The one where they throw the ball into the basket.
That's where you kick the ball into the basket and the poles.
Oh, so with the football.
Yeah. But
more importantly, am I really talking to you dorks at 11:23 on a Friday night? Really?
Imagine back when you
sign off.
Remember back when you were coloring that action figure in. Did you ever think when you were 43 years old, mayor of a small Floridian town, having discussions like this on a Friday night?
I love my wrestling.
I mean, Matt, you played basketball. Why don't you tell us about your history, man?
Anyhow, Matt Morgan, you have nothing to plug. You just want to go to sleep.
Yes.
Michael Wiseman, you got anything?
Nothing to plug. Follow me on Twitter at the Real Wiseman. I'll be back on the Winkley on Tuesday with Nick. Peace.
Raj, you got anything?
We'll be back here on Sunday after Hell in the Cell. Totally forgotten in this whole week of craziness is that we got a pay-per-view on Sunday.
I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll just be ranting and rattling off the names of other TV shows that aired on Fox over the years.
Bob's Burgers.
How'd you not say The Simpsons?
Yeah,
that was what I opened with. The Simpsons was number one.
Gotcha.
Simpsons Married with Children, 21 Jump Street. Okay. Come on. I can keep going. I could probably do about 300 before I run out.
We're good.
Okay. Herman's Head. That's one. Okay. Until next time, folks, I'm Glenn Rubenstein. We'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.